Okay.
Hello, everybody. Here we are. Okay, but it doesn't look like Nightbot's working.
Well, it looks like you might have turned it off. Remember it said that turned it off?
Yeah, but then it's got this thing. Okay, I've never had to do this before. And then it's got, sure you
No,
know,
Nightbot is now joining your channel
where does it say that?
at the top.
Nightbot's now joining your channel. Okay, so I don't know. Nightbot's a mystery to me, however that works. Anyways, hi, everybody. I trust you can see us and hear us okay. I hope. How come that's still up on our screen like that, but it's not here? So I don't know. These delays between things drive me mental all the time. I don't know. Okay, that's working. All right. Oh, look, an ad came up. How nice. Somebody said that just before we got live on here, an ad came up for Hancock's of Paducah or whatever. So Paducah, whatever it's called. Yeah. But anyways, welcome everybody. Yes, you're going to get some ads. Sorry about that. I've done whatever I can to make those the least disruptive.
Now it's fuzzy sounding.
What's fuzzy sound?
It says Slayart says now we got sound, but it's fuzzy sounding. You sure it's not your ears?
Yeah. Well, let me try monitor this here.
Get the cotton balls out of your ears.
About that, I've done whatever I can to make those the least disruptive. No, it sounds fine from my monitor. Clean out your ears, dear. Oh, okay. Nightbot is finally kicked in. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. So, anyways, there's always some technical little glitch that happens. But anyways,
finally up there.
What? Yeah,
I'm pointing up at Nightbot.
What you're pointing at?
I was just pointing up at Nightbot, so it's way behind.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, not fuzzy now. Kathy says so. Maybe that had something to do with Nightbot kicking in. I don't know. I was screwing around with Nightbot today, and yeah, I have no idea.
And you can't test it apparently. You have to.
No, you have to be live to test it.
Yeah. So.
And as soon as I go live, someone's going to join in, and there's going to be all of this mayhem and chaos. So that's a stupid thing. Whoever programmed Nightbot, they should have made some kind of area you could tap into and test it to see if the commands work. I don't know. I'm just starting to think that Nightbot may be more of a pain in the butt than it's worth. So who is here? Let's say hello to people. Donna is here, and Jean is here. And Diane Miller says, your YouTube must really like you. They ran a Hancock's of Paducah before your live. You've arrived. 10,000 and counting. Yep, true. Julie is here. Finally, life allows me to make a live. Always watch the replays. Well, that's nice, Julie. I'm glad you could make it live with us today. You may regret it. I don't know. You are welcome, Diane, for the embroidery segments. We are having fun with them, and we're learning a few things, too, because we get comments. People are making some comments about things that they do, and, you know, educated consumer is your best audience, so it helps. Russ is here, and Russ, you will notice, and Shannon, too, is here. You will notice you guys are now moderators. I did figure out how to do that, so don't misuse your power. Russ says he feels so butch today. I changed my tire all by myself without breaking a nail. Wow. Karen's here, and Deb is here. Melissa and Philip are both here. Brenda is here. Geez, Brenda, you're early today. I usually expect you later on. Kathy is here from Michigan. Yep, it's all over now. You both have blue wrenches, Shannon. Alice is down the rabbit hole. Hello. And Heather is here. N9M sound. I don't know what N9M sound means. Okay, Elsa's here. Lynn is here. Lynn, you got on here all by yourself. You're doing well, girl. Oh, and Sue has found the perfect backing for my When Stars Collide quilt. That's great, Sue. You can show it to us on Wednesday. Shannon says, no, we went through that
Well, I
before.
think she's on Nightbot. She's doing that, so it's been going on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I started back up at the beginning. Janie is here from Rainy Bear area, not Bear, Bay area, California. Faith is here. Patsy's here. Jeannie's here. And Cynthia is here. Yes, please give us a thumbs up if you feel so inclined. We'd appreciate it. Dale is here. Kim is here. Monkey Man is here. From Mariah in New Hampshire. Kay is here. Pamela. After snow twice in a week, the sun is out in Baldwin, New York. Yeah, we've got a fairly nice sunny day here today. No, we have snow on the ground, but not a lot. Carrie is here. Candace. And Pamela says, I've been thinking of your recent thread segment as I've been stitching this week, and now I want to try Floriani thread. And Janet is here. And Gail is here from Ohio. Yeah, Pamela, I like Floriani thread, but if I could get Madeira, if there was a place close enough to me that I could get Madeira thread, I might invest in some of it too, because I have a few spools of it, and I kind of liked it when we did the comparison.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, although I still love my Floriani, I really do.
Yeah, and I use the Super B, which works for me too. So
the Super E is good as well. The only thing,
actually, it's less expensive than the Floriani.
Well, it's a lot less, isn't it? About $3.99 a spool.
Well, it's $2.99. I think it's either $2.99 or $3.99 for a 1,000-meter spool, and for a 5,000-meter spool, they just put the price up at $6.99 a spool.
Yeah, well, the Super B is okay too. I don't know what that does. Insert ad. No, I don't want to insert an ad.
Just leave it. You've had that before.
Yeah, I know, but they keep changing stuff and they
Yeah.
don't seem to explain it. Anyways, if you're getting, I have noticed on YouTube lives with everybody else too, there seems to be more frequent ads. This is YouTube. They're going to just screw us all over.
Yeah, it's going to get to the point where they eliminate the content and only have ads.
Yeah, because it is getting really bad, and it's not us, the creators, okay? We would prefer not to have that many ads, but we have very little choice in the way we set it up.
We prefer not to have ads on the lives, at least.
I don't like them on.
And that's annoying for us, and it's annoying for you too.
Yeah.
And if we could control that, we would.
We would, but we can't. We have no control over it whatsoever. Did I say hi to Janet and Gail? Yes, I did. Lydia's here. Hi, Lydia and Benita. And Andy's here. Yep. So anyways, yeah, I guess we just have to put up with the ads and stuff. So I have tried to put in something new here with the bot, and I'm just going to try it and see if it does work or not. Let's see. Well, if I spelt it right. How do I spell selfie?
I don't know. I thought that's how you spell it.
Looks funny to selfie. No, that's how you spell it. Oh, there, it worked. Okay. Oh, wait, no. That's the automatic one I put up there. Well, anyways, there is a command. Shannon uses it, and I copied the command that she used for this, but I don't know if it's going to work or not, where you can put in exclamation mark selfie, and your YouTube channel or whatever will come up for you automatically, but I don't know. I'm still playing with that.
Maybe that's when you've got When Stars Collide pattern in wherever.
No, I don't. That's a separate link. I made a separate thing. I put it on the timer for that. So yeah. So speaking of When Stars Collide, there is a link there now. That will come up a couple of times in here if you want to get a hold of it. I was thinking of today being the last day for getting my pattern. But I think I'm going to leave it up for a while because it's not like I'm selling it or anything. So, you know.
I don't know.
Oh, wait.
She's got Sluffy.
Sluffy.
Slay Arts, is it Sluffy or Selfie?
Yeah, I thought it was selfie. I'm so confused. Anyways, it doesn't seem to work either way. So I guess I've done something wrong. I don't know what it is. Oh, well. Moving on. Quilting is trying commands. I don't know if that's going to come up or not. Oh, wait, what got? Yeah, you got the... That worked.
Well, why don't you try commands?
Well, commands will work, but all commands do is it shows you the breakdown. Then if you go to that link, like over here, you can see all my commands. And the selfie one is, pardon us while we do it. This is what Shannon had. And
Okay.
it automatically, those are the variables. So I don't...
How come there's not an exclamation mark in front of that?
What, is there...
No.
Let me see. Just bear with us, people, while we do some technical stuff.
See, there's no exclamation.
Ah, that might be the problem. Okay. Walter's very observant. So now, maybe this will work this time. Okay. Okay, I don't know why that one's coming up, but let's go. Let's try this. I don't, oh, yeah, but that what it comes up with is the variables. Okay, I guess I had to put something into that. But I thought it automatically read who was here, and that's what went in. You have
Obviously
to have
not.
it in the string. Yeah, I just put it in the string, Shannon, but it's still giving me this. Like it's looking for a username and it's looking for user ID. And I thought those were variables that it would put those in itself because it
Well,
doesn't.
obviously it didn't.
So I don't think I understand the selfie thing. Anyways, enough time spent on this. We'll worry about this some other time. It's not like it's going to change the price of rice in China. All right, let's get on board here, shall we? Let's take a look at what I have been up to. And okay, so I finished the quilt that I'm calling Shannon's Way because it's based on Shannon's paper pieced pattern, which is in the center of this quilt. And that was from the virtual retreat that she and Stephanie held back about a month ago. It's been a month. It's gone by fast. And I just took some scrap fabrics and built the border design around it all. And in honor of Shannon, I call it Shannon's Way. It's a small quilt. It's a lap. And this is the quilting. A little close-up of that. Of course, it was done by Lucy with the help of Quilt Path. And I am now working on my second pattern. And it won't come out until the retreat, about a week before the retreat, when I have that. And that's not until May. But here are 3 pieces of the quilt on my design board. And yeah, so that's all you get to see. It's a sneak peek.
I like the colors.
Oh my God, high praise. Walter likes the colors. Well, they're basically primary, but
I'm a primary guy.
yeah, you are in so many ways. Primary or primitive? I'm not sure which. So Marianne's here. Hi, Marianne. She's sorry she's late. Okay, we're whipping you. Colleen is here. Hi, Colleen. I'm just catching up here on what everybody's saying. New Quilting Life with Janice is here. Hi, Janice. Barb is here. Okay. So anyways, what have you been up to? Have you got my shirt done yet?
You know what I got to put the buttons on. I was going to go to a sew day yesterday, and I woke up and I just didn't feel like going. So I didn't go.
Well, because...
Otherwise, your shirt might have been done.
No, no. Oh, Shannon says it's $ users and $
User ID.
But in yours, I copied yours directly. So you got, she says I got to put, okay, I'm not going to screw around with this because we've got other things we're going to talk about. Okay, I wonder if these links work now. It likes to run everything together. Oh, it does. Yay! That's one thing I got right. Okay, with Shannon, Stephanie's, and Russ's YouTube channel will come up. Okay. All right. Hi, Designing Jay. So, yeah, the shirt looks really good. It's got peckers on it. It's
I just
big
have to
parrots.
put the buttons. I have to put a pocket on it. I'll do it this week.
Yeah, it's my Australia shirt. That's where I'll premiere it in Australia when we go there. So, Philippa, watch out. Okay, so coming events. What's coming up? So was Stephanie and Steven minus Stephanie. Yep, I got rid of her. She was just dead weight, not having her on there anymore. No, you know darn well right, no. If I got rid of Stephanie from that, no one would show up. Well, Stephanie's not going to be there on Wednesday because she's flying off to go to QuiltCon, and she's meeting up with Shannon later on Wednesday, I believe, and Ingrid, I think, as well. And they're all going to QuiltCon. Russ is flying into QuiltCon as well. I feel left out. I feel that we should have been going to QuiltCon, and we might have considered if it hadn't been for the fact.
Actually, by the time I looked at it, a lot of the hotels were already booked.
Oh.
And actually, it would be a little bit difficult we didn't have any direct flights from Canada, so we would have to do a stopover.
Oh.
Which I'm not too thrilled
We don't
with.
like stopovers. We'll pay a little more so we can have direct flights. We're not big fans of stopovers and that kind of thing.
And then later on, I did find one that had direct flight, which was Air Canada, but it was pretty pricey.
Yeah, so we're not going, but I'm sure they'll have a good time. But that means it's just going to be me here for Sewing with Stephanie and Steven. Yeah, we'll see. This will be a good experiment. I think the numbers will be down. No Stephanie with that. So speaking of which, has Stephanie joined in yet? I haven't seen her yet. Okay, so that's coming up. But something else, speaking of Stephanie is having a live 20,000 seller. Let me try this again. I'm all over the place today. Nightbot has me all upset. Stephanie's live 20K celebration is coming up. I think she's having that it's on March the 1st, I believe. Link is down in the show notes below for that. So all are welcome to attend. She's having Shannon and Russ and myself and Walter all on that night to have a good old time. And you know, when the five of us get together, you never know what's going to happen. Walter's busy checking calendar now.
Yeah, I'm just checking to make sure. March 1st is a Friday.
Yeah, that's March the 1st. So that's coming up. Oh, that's right, Melissa. It's Stephanie's daughter's birthday. I'm sending her a microwave. It's an inside joke with Sarah and I. Sarah's a little afraid of me. She thinks I'm a little weird.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would be afraid of you too.
She said to Stephanie one time, I have my standard joke about, popping the babies in the microwave kind of a thing. I think that's hilarious. I have a visual for that. But Sarah said to Stephanie one time after, she goes, "What did he used to do?" She said he was a teacher. She says, "He was a teacher?" She thinks I'm a little bizarre. So, yeah, she's probably right. So anyways, yeah, so she's probably celebrating her daughter's birthday. And so some congrats going out as well. Shannon has done it. She has gone over 1,000 subscribers. That was her goal. And Shannon has a special event she's got planned as well. I haven't got the link for that one yet on that, but once I do, I'll advertise it here as well for you. I believe that's going to be on the 27th of February. So a week from this Tuesday night. Am I right, Shannon, about that? Feel free to plug it on here. And that's great. 1,000. I remember when I got my first 1,000. I think it took a lot longer than it took Shannon to get hers. And right on her heels is Russ. So if you have not subscribed to Russ's or to Shannon's or to Stephanie's, or to us. Well, you had to if you're on here, because you wouldn't have been allowed into the chat on the live if you're not a subscriber. But if you haven't subscribed to Shannon and to Russ, please do. We got to show them some love to get them moving up on the scale here. As I mentioned, the link for When Stars Collide, my first pattern, and I've had a lot of compliments about that, and nobody has found a mistake. I had a call, I don't know if she's on here today, I haven't seen her come in yet, from Dana. Many of you know who Dana is, out in Regina, Saskatchewan. She called me because she wanted to know about trimming down the 5-inch squares to 4.5 inch, which is really not confusing. And I didn't put that in originally to the pattern. The pattern everybody has now, if you've already downloaded, that's in there. But that was thanks to another subscriber. I forget who brought that to my attention. They thought it should be there. I mean, I thought it was kind of implied when you start putting it together. You would know that there are just plain squares in the quilt, and that you should probably trim them down to if it's going to fit in with the 4.5 inch half square triangles. But should never assume, right? So it's in there, but Dana's on track now. No problem there. But I do have the link for it as well in the show notes too. So don't worry if the thing comes up and it goes by too fast and you can't click on it. It's in the show notes. Pop-up Sew Day this Saturday, February the 24th, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, running until about 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can come and go as you please. You don't have to register for it. I'm saying that because the old bodies here, what I mean by the people who've been with us for a while, they know how the pop-up sew days work. But if you're new and you've never been to one, you should be there. They're lots of fun. They're not like my 10,000 bash. There aren't any prizes. There's no need to contact me to reserve a spot with it. We don't usually go over the number I can handle. I think our highest number has been about 44, which is like a little less than half that I can handle. And as I said, you don't have to be there at 8 a.m. You can come anytime you want to. And you can leave anytime you want to, too. We will not nail you down to the floor so you can't move from it. But we always have a good time. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I plan to be.
Oh, Walter's Fan Club. Walter will be making an appearance. It may not be at 8 a.m. In fact, I know it won't be at 8 a.m. But Walter will be there, so you can all bask in his glory. If you wish, sing his praises. You are not worthy, you are not worthy. Yeah, I say all of this facetiously, of course. So yeah, that's coming up Saturday, February 24th. That's this Saturday coming up. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on today. You may have noticed in the title that I called it Pourri because, yeah, it's a whole mixture of stuff here. And you know us, we'll probably divert from it. Oh, it's Kay's birthday as well.
Happy birthday,
happy
Kay.
birthday, Kay. So
We'll talk about Russ's channel.
I did talk about it. What are you present in this time zone?
I don't know.
You do this all the time. I tell him something in this, and he goes, "Oh, and by the way, you should mention." I already did. Where you been?
Okay.
Is this on early onset dementia?
Yeah, I think so.
You see bugs? Well,
Yeah,
actually,
I do.
Yeah, we do, but that's because we have them. We don't like to say that, but they're coming off our grow lights. Walter just cleaned out some stuff. I know some of those little tomatoes are getting red.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
So after we pick those, get rid of those damn plants because...
Actually, I'm going to ditch the plants because, well, first of all, we have a problem with bugs.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I don't want anything growing while we're away, so...
Yeah, true. With that. So...
I don't want anything to leave anything unattended.
Yeah.
While we're away. And, I mean, I might probably still get my niece to come in once a week or something to just have a look around and check on the house and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Andy says it was Jeannie's birthday yesterday.
Oh,
happy birthday, Jeannie. So how many times is this at 29? You don't look a day over.
Over what?
I don't know. I was trying to think. 40. You don't look a day over 40. Yeah. So Yeah, so yeah, these stupid little bugs. We figure they came in when Walter brought in some of the plants from outdoors, and it's been an ongoing battle. I mean, it's not like so badly infested. Although when you look at the little sticky strips, if you've
Yeah,
seen my
well,
blog,
we have a lot more than I'd like to have. So, not that I'd not want to have any, but a few I can handle. But we got a little too many.
yeah, Heidi's here. Hi, Heidi. Oh, and Deb's happy cake day. Hers was last Monday. Oh, Jeannie, I didn't ask you. I mean, you're a lady. A gentleman doesn't ask a lady to reveal her age, but she's 77. You're looking damn
Yeah, if
good.
you turn it upside down, it'll look like 11s.
Yeah, sure. You do look damn good for
Yeah, yeah.
77, Jeannie. In fact, I didn't think you were
I didn't think you were that old.
old. I was trying to avoid saying old. Like, I didn't think you were that mature.
Sure.
Let's put it that way.
You're immature.
But no, so Jeannie's 10 years older than me.
Wow.
Well, I can't call her mama. Not that I would, because I'd probably die for that as well. So, and Deb's was last Monday too. So, okay.
Oh, February babies.
Yeah, a lot of February. Let's see. Where's it? Back that up.
Back it up 9 months.
Let's see. February,
Sometime in the
January,
summer.
December, November, October, September, August, July, June, May. Spring has sprung, and so did all the hornies.
Maybe that's graduation from schools.
Oh, maybe. Hello. Nothing says I got my
From
diploma
schools,
like a good. Never mind. We're going too far on that one. So, yeah. So, tomorrow, there's a holiday for Americans, and there's a holiday for not everybody in Canada, but most of the provinces. You guys call it President's Day. We call it Family Day. You've had President's Day, I think, for a lot longer than we've had Family Day. But I looked it up to find out what President's Day is all about. And this was interesting. I didn't know. President's Day, I thought it was a day when you sort of set aside to honor all the presidents of the United States, but apparently not. It's Washington's birthday and Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Now, actually, what I found was George Washington's birthday is actually on February the 22nd, and Abraham Lincoln's is on February the 12th. So I guess they split the difference and made it the 19th this year for President's Day. And then I got thinking, well, why two presidents? I understand George Washington because, founding president, the first president of the United States. But then I got thinking about it. Abraham Lincoln was the first president once after the Civil War when the country came back together as a whole. Because, I mean, it had been split, right? And I think during the Civil War, didn't they declare somebody a fake president down in the South or something like that? So I can see. So basically, George Washington, founding father of the United States, and Abraham Lincoln, kind of founding father of the new United States. So I get it. Now maybe you can fill me in on more of that. Hi, Stephanie. But here we have Family Day. Now, Family Day, this is what it said about Family Day. In Ontario, that's our province, the government established Family Day in order to give hardworking individuals more time with their loved ones.
I also think it was because that was one of the few months that we didn't have a holiday.
Yeah, it was one of the few months we didn't have a holiday. Now it says, though only a few provinces formally celebrate it and only non-federal employees usually get the day off, it's a wonderful bonding time for families in participating areas. During the Ontario provincial election in 2007, Dalton McGuinty, Liberal Party, promised that if re-elected premier, he would establish a provincial holiday in February. So there's the crux. It was a political move to buy votes. Okay, this bull crap about giving hardworking individuals more time with their loved ones. No. It was all about getting into power. And so on October 12th, 2007, the provincial government established Family Day on the third Monday in February to be observed on February 18th, 2008. So, yeah. So that's why we have it. Um, and it's not a statutory holiday, so stores are open. Stores are open. People are working. The only people that basically are getting it off is it depends on their employer if they're letting them off, and school teachers, the schools are closed on Family Day, and I imagine provincial workers
Yeah, they get the day off.
day off.
I think they do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they do.
but it says non-federal get the day off.
Yeah,
So
so
that means
provincial government is non-federal. So,
Mhm. So does that mean posties have to work tomorrow?
well,
Postus?
post office is not considered part of the federal government, is it?
Well, it's a private corporation now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or however they designate
they're
it.
probably off though.
Oh yeah, because posties.
Pauline says PEI calls it Islander Day.
Oh, okay. Because that wasn't one of the provinces I saw that was listed that actually had it. So I guess you guys have it now. I mean, the article I read might be a little dated, so whatever. And was that Elsa said something about Alberta. Alberta gets it, I think.
Alberta was because the leader at the time had his son was a drug addict. Okay, so how's that?
How does that mean that they got a family day because they had a drug addict kid? What, so they could spend more time with him? Drive him to rehab? I don't know. Sue says, we used to have a holiday for each Washington and Lincoln. In the 80s, those holidays were combined, and a federal holiday was declared to honor Martin Luther King. Ah, okay. And then Sue says the Martin Luther King Day is in January. Yeah, because we see that because, every time in the States has a holiday, we know about it.
Yeah, because everything's closed down
Yeah.
there. All our markets and everything else get closed. So
Hi, Kathy. Yeah, so anyways, but, when I was teaching, it was nice to have that day because we didn't have, you came back from school after Christmas holidays, so usually in the first week of January, we're back at school, but then you only had about 3 weeks of school or 2 weeks of school because then the kids at high school level anyways went into exams. Now we were still there, but you weren't really teaching, you were marking and everything and adjudicating exams and all of that fun things that we used to have to do. And then we started the next semester sometime in February, like near the first of it. And then we get this holiday, and then we had March break, and then on the heels of March break is Easter usually, and then there's nothing until what we call May 24, the 24th of May, whenever that falls. You were going to say, it falls on the 24th of May. No, it doesn't. It actually doesn't. Unless the 24th of May falls on a weekend, then it does.
falls around there. Right?
But usually it's just before the 24th or just after. It makes a long weekend, whatever it is. And the Americans may wonder what the 24th of May is. It's the Queen's birthday. Not the past Queen, nor the present King. It was Queen Victoria's birthday. And technically speaking, I'm not even sure if it was the May the 24th was actually Queen Victoria's actual birthday. I don't know. Look it up, Walter. I think they picked that day for it. Don't ask me. The British do weird things. And so in Canada, of course, because we're part of the Commonwealth, we've always had that. But that's always also the unofficial first day, basically, of what we consider the summer season. It's not really the first day of summer. It's still spring, but that's what we have. What do you find out?
So Queen Victoria's birthday was May 24th, 1819.
Oh, okay. So her actual birthday, Queen Victoria, was May the 24th. So that's why we have that. But yeah. So there you go. The history of holidays. Elsa says, yes, the leader thought, no, that Heather's here. In Nova Scotia, it's called Heritage Day. Okay. Karen says, I believe we do have Canada Post Mail Service on Family Day in Ontario. Oh, okay. Yeah, Queen Elizabeth's real birthday was in April. Yeah, that's true. So we have these, in common. It's a long weekend for Americans and for some Canadians, depending, or whatnot. Okay, so we brought that up. Moving on to a new topic. So Chatty. People seem to be liking our embroidery series that we've been doing. Some people have told me that they have learned quite a bit so far. So this past week, if you haven't seen So Chatty, we talked about thread comparisons, and I showed you a simple project doing a table napkin. Walter thinks that was too complicated. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done something more basic. Well, I did. I stitched out maple leaves on a piece of...
Well, we jumped from stabilizers to doing a big project.
That's not a big project.
Oh, okay.
That's a piece of fabric
But we
you put
didn't
in
even
design.
show people how to hoop.
This is true. I made an assumption. So guess what we're showing this coming week on So Chatty? We're going to talk about the ins and outs and everything you want to know about hooping, because we did talk a little bit about that on this past week's So Chatty. We talked about floating fabric, floating stabilizer. That may be very confusing. Like, people may say, well, when do I do that? When don't I do it? And that kind of thing. So Walter's going to be taking the lead on this.
I usually hoop my projects in the hoop. I've never floated. I've never floated stuff on top of the hoop.
I have.
Okay. So,
Many times.
Yeah.
Why haven't you?
Because I'm used to hooping it.
So you float the stabilizer underneath.
No, I hoop the stabilizer and my fabric
Well,
in the hoop.
sometimes it's too thick to be able to do that in your hoop.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that on So Chatty this week. So I guess there's going to be some conflap here, because Walter does things a little different than the way
but I
do.
don't do all the fancy stuff that you
No,
do.
you don't. No, you don't. Yes, so you will bow down to me. You will. You'll get on your knees and praise me. Yeah, that's never happening.
The only things I've done is like the exterior of bags and the freestanding lace, which in freestanding lace you only hoop stabilizer.
Yeah. Very good. So anyways, if you are mystified by hooping, we'll be having a hooping old time on Friday next week. So stay tuned for that. Barb says your embroidery series has been excellent. Thank you. I'm glad. We're hoping, we want to take the mystery out of it because they're so much fun.
Well, actually, it's kind of nice because people that are on here that actually watch your channel on a regular basis can see if they're not into embroidery or were thinking about getting an embroidery machine, can sort of see the trials and tribulations that you go through for embroidery, right?
Yes, but it shouldn't be scary.
No, it isn't.
You won't destroy the world if you push the wrong button. Okay, and a lot of people think that, and that's one reason why we established this series, because we kept hearing constantly, we were hearing people saying, oh, my husband bought me an embroidery machine for Christmas. That was 3 years ago. It's still in the box. No, expensive toy.
Or even people that wanted an embroidery machine. I have heard people buy an embroidery machine, they get it home, and then they're intimidated to use it.
And I mean, part of the reason you're intimidated is, well, yes, it's an expensive machine, but two, the manual that comes with it tells you nothing. At least the Janome one, and I
don't know. It
doesn't really take you through a project.
It doesn't really take you through a project because it tells you what all the panels do and the settings and everything. But if you've never actually done an embroidery project, then that part of it might be kind of like putting the hoop in.
But it's information overload.
Yeah.
In the manual. I mean, if you even read, and I don't think a lot of people read a manual from cover to cover, and if you do, you're a nerd. But my point made right there. But I mean, to me, manuals are on a need-to-know basis. When I need to know something, I'll check the manual and see, oh, can you do that? I don't know. And of course, YouTube.
The only thing I don't really read all the way through necessarily in a sewing machine manual is all the different stitches and how they do it, because other than straight stitch or zigzag, I don't really usually do like blind hemming and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Oh, Val says, darn, ad came up. I hit skip and it ends me back to the beginning of your live. That happened to another live I was watching today. That's weird. It should pick up where it left off. Anybody else having that problem? Well, I can't do anything about it, but that's stupid.
yeah,
If it's doing that. Like, no, you don't want that. That's going to kill lives. If that does it, that will kill lives for it, because you might as well just be watching a video that's been pre-recorded then.
Heidi says she's a nerd. She reads them too.
Yeah, well, Heidi, I would expect, would do it. She probably has every page
That's why
memorized.
she knows everything.
I know, she had memorized it all. She's got a memory like a steel trap. Like, there you go. And Pam says, I did it in my working days. Yeah. Well, yeah. But anyways, we're trying to demystify the fear of embroidery, because there's nothing to fear and there's so much to be gained from it. We were watching something last night on YouTube. It was a trade show that was in Toronto. We never heard of it before.
Yeah, no.
Now, of course, it wasn't for the general public. It was for people that, sell embroidery machines and embroidery products. But they were showing like the multi-needle machines, and they have some really sophisticated stuff.
Actually, they showed one where they actually embroidered everything in white, and then they colored it.
They did
afterwards.
They did is it not subliminal? It's sublimation.
Yeah.
Color printing. So what they did was they were showing it on a hat, and they stitched out the whole design in white thread on the hat, and then they had a rainbow colored piece of paper. It was the chemical or whatever, the colors on it. They put that down on top of what had been stitched out, and then put it into a heat press and pressed it for about 30 seconds. When it came out, they had this great rainbow color across it. And they had another machine. They didn't really show how it worked, but it takes white embroidery thread and it custom designs it as it's going through the machine. Custom dyes it. Yeah, custom dyes it as it goes through the machine. Now, you know that a machine like that is definitely for industrial use and probably costs tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. But wow, wouldn't that be great if they had one for home use where you just used white thread and you could pick whatever color you wanted and bang? That would be something. The more I've thought about a multi-needle machine, Janome has one.
But the thing is like, I think that's more for, like, if you've got okay, depending on how many colors your design uses.
He rains on my parade all the time. Go on.
Okay, if you're only using, like, if you've got even a 12 needle thing, you can only thread 12 colors at once, right? So if you're doing a design that only has 3 colors in it or something like that, that's great, because then you don't have to rethread it all the time,
yeah.
Right? But you still have to thread 12 needles.
Yeah.
Right? And then if I do a design like I have, that has like 35 colors in it, then I have to thread the first 12 needles and then rethread a whole bunch of other ones.
However, you're saying 35 colors. Actually 35 colors, or actually 35 thread changes?
Yeah, well, 35 thread changes, but there's usually like 20 colors in others.
Okay. But still, if you were doing something that you wanted multiple copies of, like I often do things where I have to have multiple copies. I don't know. I just think they're cool.
Yeah.
I just think.
Yeah, like I guess if you're doing your
like my gnomes,
lace, your gnomes, you can just thread a bunch of needles and then let it go.
They're not that expensive. The 4 one from Janome, they're what, $4,000?
No, I think they're more like 6,000.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, might get one tomorrow, if ever, with it. But I just think it's really cool. Pat's here. Hi, Pat. Teresa's here too. Hello, Teresa. And ad number 5 just popped up. Yeah, I'm watching it on my monitor as well, and the ad comes up on my monitor too. And though it didn't give me a chance to skip it, but it wasn't that long, so I wanted to see if one comes up, and because I want to see what Val was saying, to see if it takes you back, because it shouldn't do that. Because I skip them when I watch somebody else's live and they come up in that, and I get an opportunity to skip it, I click on the skip and it picks right up where it interrupted. So I don't know. And Janet, you can count all the ads you want to, but it's not going to make any difference.
I mean, we would eliminate them if we could.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, we can't eliminate them.
We can't. I've looked into it. Can't do it. Not going to happen. That is YouTube. They have us by the curlies. Okay? Not much more we can do about that. So, you know. So anyways, yeah, I'm glad people are getting a lot out of our embroidery series. And I got contacted by a online Facebook group, the Atlantic Embroiderers or something they're called. Just let me see what that was. Let's see. Yeah, they're called Atlantic Coast Embroidery, ACE they use on that. And the lady who coordinates that, I guess, who moderates it, had seen a couple of our videos about embroidery and so forth, rented lips, and asked me to join if I'd be interested. And she also wanted to know if I would be interested in, you know, showing some of, on my channel, some of her members on their creations. I said, sure. So I've been sharing some of my stuff on that one as well. And they have sew days, embroidery sew days, but I think they have them at a local store, it seemed. They were not virtual. I'm seriously thinking, once we get a little further on in the series, of having a virtual pop-up embroidery day kind of a thing. I don't know how that would work. I'm not sure what that looks like yet. I don't know if it would be sort of like a pop-up sew day where, you know, you just come and you do some embroidery, you know, on that kind of thing. Or we all work on a similar project or something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't figured that out that far ahead. If you have any suggestions, you machine embroiderers out there or want to be machine embroiderers, please send them to me either by email or in the comments, and you know, it'll give me some ideas.
A few people on here have multi-needle machines.
Oh yeah,
Designing Jay has one, and so does Donna Bogart.
I have it serviced once a year. So Donna says I have a 15 needle machine. Wow, very little maintenance. I have it serviced once a year. He travels to me. Well, that's great. Now Donna, why do you have a 15 needle machine? Do you do this as some form of a business, or just like me, you just love to have big toys? No, Janet, there isn't any place you can complain. Anything you complain to YouTube about falls on deaf ears.
Yeah, the probably their response is by premium.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do, you know. They're trying to make us all go to premium and pay them a monthly subscription price. No, Designing Jay doesn't have a multi-needle. She's thought about it.
Oh, thought about a multi-needle.
Okay, read.
Okay.
There are words, they say mean things.
Yeah, okay.
KMB Stitches, you can complain to YouTube, but since advertising is YouTube's source of income, I don't think it'll do much. But maybe complaining about it, how the ads are affecting your viewing might help. Yeah, I don't think it will, KMB. They don't care.
I suppose you can't hurt.
I mean, you can do it, but I'm pretty sure it falls on deaf ears because I have complained about a couple things before. You don't even get an acknowledgement that you've sent them an email or anything. Brenda says, I have YouTube Prime and so far have not seen any ads. Like, well, you shouldn't, Brenda. If you have the premium service, you're paying to not have ads. Donna says, I worked for the local hockey team and did all their embroidery, ran their store, retired now. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what brand of machine was that, Donna? And how much did that cost you? Inquiring minds want to know. I have one of those. So yeah, anyways, and that's an idea. I don't know if I was to get one where I would put it. Although they were showing one that was really tiny. Had a small, well, the Genome doesn't have a big
it's
space either.
It was a 4 thread that they showed.
Yeah. Oh, was that all it was?
Yeah.
Oh, because Genomi's 4 thread, it doesn't have a huge footprint. So
the other ones they were showing on the multi-head ones, which they had many more threads. 12K.
Oh, okay.
It was an advanced, I guess. I've never heard of
Advanced 12K. Yeah, I've never heard of advanced, but you know, That's
They have different
beyond the
names,
scope
yeah.
of our expertise, because we dealing with, home machines as opposed to the more industrial. The ads are popping up on my phone, but not on my TV. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Don't know how that works, people. Um, okay, so moving on to another topic here. All right. Remember we did a few weeks ago, we talked about Value Village and Goodwill, Place Salvation Army, about donations and what really happens to them and everything. And Value Village was the biggest crook of them all, it seemed, because they're actually owned by a huge American corporation, and they're basically sucking people in. You think you're donating to a good cause and they're making money off of that, and they're not necessarily donating it to charities. Here in Canada, the Value Village, or in our area, has signs. They always promoted that the stuff that they were doing was raising money for Diabetes Canada. However, now their signs have a very faint blue line, sort of 3/4 of the way down on the word diabetes on there. So you don't know whether they're highlighting diabetes, underlining it, or it means it doesn't exist anymore. And I think that's part of the ploy, because they're not making money for diabetes. So we saw a video last night, or on Friday night maybe, on YouTube, from a CBC, that's Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, our major television station. They have a show called Marketplace, and they talk about all kinds of consumer things of interest to consumers. And they were talking about Value Village, and apparently the prices have gone up in Value Village to the point where they're higher than if you were to buy the same thing brand new in, say, like a Dollarama, a dollar store. It was more, and
The
they
dollar
were
store, or even places like Walmart and stuff.
yeah,
like
Walmart and stuff like that. And like they showed, they had two reporters. One went into a Walmart, and I guess it was just Walmart she went into, and the other one was in what we call dollar, or in the Value Village. Oh no, she was in Dollarama too. Dollarama is our biggest dollar store.
It's like Dollar Tree, only better.
Yeah, it's better than Dollar Tree. More variety. At least the Dollar Trees we have here in Canada are not the same as the ones you have in the States, although the same company. Anyways, they were comparing prices. So the one was pulling something off the shelf from the Value Village. She'd actually pull off something that still had the price tag on it from Dollarama. And it would say like a little steel bucket, for planting flowers in or whatever, $1.50 at Dollarama, $1.99 or $2.99 labeled on it at Value Village. They didn't even take the price tag off the original thing. It still had the price tag on it from Dollarama. Somebody must have bought it at Dollarama and donated it in, figuring they didn't need it or whatever now. It looked like it'd never been used. They were looking at clothing. It was the same with clothing.
Like they bought like a top at Walmart,
Yeah.
or whatever, and the exact same top sold at Value Village, and it was priced 50 cents higher than what Walmart was selling it for.
Yeah. So basically, then they approached, Value Village's administration or whatever, and they wouldn't make a comment. All they said was they were dedicated to giving good choice to consumers at a fair price. Well, let's talk about who goes to a Value Village to pick up stuff. The people that are going there are people who have low incomes. They can't afford a whole lot. If they could afford a whole lot, they'd be shopping at Walmart or some other store. So they're going in there, but they may not really understand. They're assuming that when they pick up something at Value Village, that it is the lowest price that they can get for that item or whatever. Well, they're not. They're being scammed. It's a scam with that. I'm not donating anything to Value Village anymore once we found out about this. But I suspect that something like this was happening back years ago. When I was a paper crafter, I would go to Value Village and I would buy canvases to paint over. In some cases, they were blank canvases. Some of them were, starving artist kind of thing, kind of deal. And they'd be like $1.99 or something like that, or 99 cents. and I would just paint over them to do my collages or whatever I was working on. But then I noticed the prices were creeping up. I was going in and I was buying these canvases, and they were starting to go not from 99 cents and $1.99 up to $2.99, $3.99, $4.99. And I could buy brand new canvases at that point in time at the local Curry's. Curry's is an art supply store here in Canada for the same price or less. So I stopped buying them. Well, I don't buy a lot of things at Value Village. I go in occasionally and look around. Usually if I'm looking for something
unique
and junky, that I for, something that I'm not going to spend a lot of money on, I thought. Well, I'm not doing that anymore because the prices are ridiculous. And they're just taking advantage of poor people, basically, is what it is. And this thing back to the sign with the blue line through it, you know what they're doing legally. If you were to complain about that and go, well, I thought, does your money go to diabetes? And they'll probably give you an iffy answer, but the answer is no. You'll say, well, then you're misadvertising because your sign says diabetes. Well, no, that's crossed off. But it's not crossed off. If they really want it to be legit about that, they need to reprint their signs.
And they need to get rid of that sign.
Yeah, they need to get rid of those signs that say diabetes for it all. I wonder how the Diabetes Foundation feels about this. Mm-hmm. Be interesting to know. Should do a search on the internet, see if there's been any kind of information about that. But I mean, that's misadvertising to say the least. They're fraudulent. But
well, I noticed one time going in, this was quite a while ago. I went in there and I think it was around Halloween or something. And I noticed they had like a Kirkland shirt hanging on the men's rack, which is Costco. And the shirt's more expensive than it was at Costco. So that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, Mary Ann says her local church-run store is getting like this. They think their stuff is made of gold. Yeah, and
maybe Value Village is sort of influencing their pricing.
Well, yeah, because Teresa says something interesting. She says, I disagree that only shoppers at BV are of low income. There's a whole thrifting movement. Feel good to keep things out of landfill. Yes, there is. And I'll bet you the church stores have caught on to that because that's very popular. But I disagree with the whole thing that these people feel good. They don't want to put it in landfill. No, they don't. They're into retro clothing and all that kind of stuff. They're still looking for bargains as well. With that too. So I don't think they're all tree huggers that are going in there. Some are, yes. Teresa says, I've heard horror stories about Goodwill. People go in with a voucher for clothes, and when they go to the till, they're told they can't buy a certain item with a voucher. Yeah, and Goodwill doesn't exist anymore. I don't think.
Is there still Goodwill? Do you have a Goodwill in your area? Because in our area, we
don't
have any Goodwills, and I think the one in Toronto went
gone there because there was scandal. They were basically the upper echelons.
The higher ups were taking money, or what do you call it?
They were skimming off the top of it.
Yeah.
They were misappropriating funds.
Yeah.
With it. Hi, Charlotte. Oh, I didn't say hello to Del Marie. Hi, Del Marie, as well. So yeah, but the bottom line is this: we shouldn't support a place like Value Village. They are owned by a major corporation out of the States to start with that has an umbrella of these kind of things under them, plus other places as well. So if you don't take your stuff there and you don't want to go into landfill, what do you do with it? Well, the choices are slim. Church-run places, maybe. Salvation Army. What I said about Salvation Army on that one when we talked about it, I'm still a little iffy about Salvation Army. There is Missions for Bibles, which seems to be pretty legit. The only thing I have against Mission for Bibles is that means my money is going to a Christian organization that is going over and downtrodden natives to make them Christian. Okay, I mean, I'm being a little facetious about that, but am I? I know, I saw, what's that play? The Book of Mormon. About that, yeah, a whole section on that. So where else do you take it? We have another place out here called Talese. I don't know if other people have it in their areas or
I
not.
think it's a corporation too.
Yeah. And so probably the same
And
thing's
then
happening.
there's Vincent de Paul or whatever, which is a Catholic-based organization.
Yeah. Yeah, Val says Goodwill's still in Northern California. Okay.
Says Barb says they have 3 Goodwill stores in Calgary, and Teresa
Okay.
says they have one in London, I think.
Oh, okay. So they still do exist. They don't here where we are.
I'm not sure if it's London. I'm not sure where Teresa is.
I think she's Guelph. Aren't you, Teresa? Aren't you Guelph area? Yeah. So, really, it's limited where you can take your stuff, right? And let's face it, sometimes we clean out kitchen cabinets and have like 7 boxes of stuff, and the Value Village was very close to us, so we just took it over there, kind of a deal. Of course, that's before I really knew what Marketplace was showing about this, but
Yeah, but I suppose if you want to get rid of your stuff and you don't want to dump it in the dump.
I guess, yeah. Teresa says they have a Talese in London. You can contact the women's and men's shelters in your area. Some take clothes, some don't. Yeah. And Calgary has 3 Salvation Army stores as well. Yeah, the other thing too, I find when you're donating to some of these other organizations, sometimes they're very, very picky. Now, I think they need to be picky in terms of they don't want stuff that looks like the cat dragged it in.
Well, they want stuff that's actually garbage.
No,
so.
or dirty and all that kind of stuff. No.
Like, I mean, I asked them about, I had a chest of drawers, which actually was a solid wood piece. That was
a decent piece of furniture.
Yeah. And I said, I had a chest of drawers, and they said, well, I went over to Mission Survivals, and they said, well, we want to look at it before we take it. Yep. And I think it's more that they were trying not to get garbage, right? So I brought it over there, and yeah, it was no problem. They took it because it was actually a solid wood piece of it was actually
furniture,
somewhat of an antique.
Like if somebody was looking to refinish something,
yeah,
that would have been a great piece for that kind of thing. And it wasn't all banged up.
No, it was still work.
Yeah, it was still
and
fine.
The boards were all fine.
Yeah, and everything like that. Another thing they said on this Marketplace episode, though, was also, what was I thinking of? They had another aspect here. And now I just lost my train of thought. Seniors moment, I hate that when that happens to me, which happens every other day. What was it? It was... What else did they talk about in the show? You probably don't remember. There was another something very... They interviewed an employee of it and said about how they price it. And the manager would come over and say, no, you can't price that. You got to price it higher than that. And even with the price tags on them, like I said, like some of the stuff that came from Dollarama and ended up there.
And I guess they had certain things. They had like a computer program for certain types of clothing that if it came from a certain place or whatever, that they had a standard price they had to attach to it.
Yeah. Mozilla says, holy crap, ad plays, then goes back to Stephen and Walter's speed talking. The boys sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Don't know.
Don't know.
I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Every time one of you brings this up about the ads, I feel you're blaming me. Okay? It isn't our fault. I've said that before. If you're making me aware of it, I understand what's going on. You're frustrating me when you bring this up because I can't do anything about it. If I could, I would. Okay? So here's the solution. Leave. If it's bothering you that much, leave. I can't do anything about it and watch the replay. Okay? I know you're just trying to make me aware of it, but I can't do anything about it. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Okay? So, moving on. Barb says in Calgary, there are also a few independent charity stores that will pick up large furniture items from your home. Well, I'll call Calgary.
Well, I guess Habitat for Humanity will pick up furniture items.
Oh, yeah. But they are very specific what they want because what they're doing is they're recycling it
Mm-hmm.
into like homes and dwellings and things like that too. Um, yeah, I know you're not blaming me, but I don't need to hear this back and forth, okay? Because it's making me frustrated. I would love to change it, but I can't. So, we're just going to have to put up with it. There's nothing we can do about it. It sucks. I know. Teresa says, I looked at 2 sewing machines at Bible for Missions once, and neither had the cords. It turned out the guy who checked them before shelving them didn't know what the funny looking cords with pedals were. Oh, okay. Well, I can see that. If you're not a sewer, right? You might not have an idea about that. So, yeah, I get that. But yeah, they're kind of, well, you can get one though. You can buy usually a foot pedal, a universal one or something that'll fit. But anyways, I just found that very interesting about Value Village. And that takes me to another topic. Now, this is going to be controversial because I know everybody has their attitude towards how we can help our fellow man. But I don't know if you've noticed it lately, but I am finding YouTube videos and Facebook and that app Neighbors or whatever. Next door. I never get it right. Next door. There are people, because they've had something happen in their lives, that are starting up GoFundMes and are starting to plead to people to donate to the GoFundMe. Like, their dog has been hurt, okay? They have vet bills. They're looking for GoFundMe for their dog. I feel sorry for the dog. Okay, yeah, it's an animal. I don't like to see an animal hurt. There was somebody on a YouTube video I saw the other day, and apparently she is looking after elderly parents, and it's become a real struggle for her. And I do get what she was talking about, the financial burden of looking after parents when they haven't done a very good job of their own personal finances over the year. And she's looking now for money from strangers through GoFundMe to pay for this because she can't do it. Now, what she's saying isn't so much expenses for upkeep and things like that. It's to hire someone to come in and clean their house on a regular basis, and that because she's been going over and doing that and she's just exhausted from it. She said something about having siblings, but they don't seem to be much of a help. But that's just one example. Okay? There seems to be more and more of these where people are reaching out to, depending upon the kindness of strangers.
There was one not too long ago that posted on next door that said that, their house burnt down. Or no, they had a flood in their house. And
a flood as in not a natural disaster, as in a pipe broke.
A pipe broke, and they had a flood in their house, and they were looking for money for putting themselves up in a hotel. Well, a lot of people wrote on there and said, don't you have house insurance? That's supposed to take care of that, right? And then later on, they came back and said, oh, yeah, I realized that.
Yeah, okay, so analyze this. Everybody has house insurance. You have to have house insurance. At least where we live, you have to have it. There is no choice about that matter. And your house insurance does cover, if something like this happens where you cannot live in your house, you can get at least part, if not all, through your insurance, your hotel bills, within reason, covered by your insurance. Is this person stupid? The first thing that most people do is immediately call their insurance company. And usually insurance companies will say, okay, well, can you live in the house? If you can't, and they go through what they will cover and what they won't cover in the whole bit. Is this person trying to get other people to give money? How bad was this flood that you can't live in your house? Well, was it in the basement? Was it the whole house? If it's a pipe broke, there's a lot of ifs here that they weren't filling in on. It
seems like people nowadays, the first thing they think of is, I'm going to set up a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to deal with it themselves, right?
Yeah.
And what did we do before GoFundMe existed?
Right. We kind of looked after ourselves. Yes, there are people in the world that this is an impossibility for them.
I mean, there are situations where, you know, as a last resort, somebody might do this, but now it's becoming like, oh, I need this money because of I can't deal with this and all this other stuff.
My kid needs books for school.
Yeah, please, I need GoFundMe.
Yet they are working. Okay, so what's that? It's like the people who go to the food banks that all have a job, have a car, have a house, can't make ends meet at the end of the month. Maybe you need to reassess your lifestyle. Maybe it's your lifestyle is maybe you're living beyond your means, kind of a thing. I don't know.
Now, mind you, I've looked at some of the GoFundMes that are on GoFundMe, and people have posted stuff, and they don't have any donations because obviously people don't feel their plea is pertinent enough.
No. Well, the one that I was just mentioning that said about her parents and everything like that, I checked out her GoFundMe. She had 2 donations, each of $100, and that was it. And that was after about a week and a half since she put up the video about it. So, yeah, I don't know. It sounds very uncharitable of me to say that these people might be scamming, but in this day and age, there's so much of that going on. How do you know? If it was somebody I knew, or even somebody that might be an acquaintance,
or somebody that, you know, we knew a little bit more about, and knew a little bit more about their situation, then yeah, I'd probably give some money towards that. But if it's somebody that you don't know very well, you don't really know the situation, would you, depending on the situation, I guess. But a lot of times it just sort of sounds like...
Sometimes it sounds like a scam.
Well, or it sounds sort of like they haven't exhausted all their avenues yet.
Yeah, it's like, this is what I'm going to do immediately. Well, you know, I didn't set up a GoFundMe when I had just retired and my father had dementia and they had a lot of debts, and both Walter and I, we were putting out a lot of money to support them. Even before I retired, we were hiring people to cut their grass because we couldn't do it, but we were paying for that, not them. I paid off what they owed on the lease on their car. We went through all their finances, got rid of, my mother had taken out different policies and different things on stuff that were all just basically money down the tubes. They still owed money on a brand new furnace that they had installed in their house like 30 years ago. The whole bit, they got sucked into one of those kind of things. I did all of that. It cost us a lot of money, and I had just retired from all of this. Trying to figure out, how I was going to pay now that I wasn't working and I was living off a pension for all this kind of stuff. It never entered my mind once to create a GoFundMe account for this kind of stuff. I mean, I just looked at it and said, well, it's something I have to deal with. So there might be some things in my life financially that will, I'll have to cut back on or whatever. I mean, what I'm saying is you look after your own, kind of a thing, and you do it to the best of your ability. So, I don't know. Stephanie says, celebrity here in the States did a GoFundMe to fund baseball camp for her son, $10,000, but then showed up to the Super Bowl with said child. Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. There's too many bloody scammers in the world now, and they're amongst us. Teresa says, I've seen GoFundMe for wedding parties, stag and dough. If you can't afford a big party, downsize. My sister's wedding was put together for $800, including her dress. It was outdoors, and it was a blast. Yeah. This is the thing. And I guess what you're saying, Teresa, is she didn't have the big party. You
Well,
know?
no, you're saying that they're putting up a GoFundMe to finance their wedding that they can't afford.
Yeah. So you make things affordable, you know, and
You can't afford a big party, then you don't have
then
one.
you don't have one, you know. And she says, put it together for $800, including her dress. So look, she did it fine. When we had our wedding, we never even thought of doing a GoFundMe for it. We put, now mind you, ours did cost a little bit more than $800, but we kept it within reason. You know, we had a budget for it. We knew how much we could afford to spend, and that's what we kept to in that kind of thing. So, yeah, things cost a lot of money.
One on the end.
Yeah, I know. It's just, that's the normal. Yeah, looking at the printer, it's making a weird noise. So yeah, I guess it all comes down to this. You got to live within your means, you know? And a lot of people don't do that anymore.
Stephanie just did it just when you said that.
What?
People no longer understand the concept of living within their means.
Yeah, well, Stephanie and I are on the same wavelength. You should get on it. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, it just annoys me. Now, some of you might be thinking in the back of your head, am I going to bring up the Marnay and Jim situation? You know, the quilter whose house burnt to the ground, and she has a GoFundMe for that. I donate it to that. She's not a friend. She is an acquaintance. I did interview her. And a lot of people are. And I feel that she is being very honest about what's going on. She lost her business to it, like out of her home. She's a quilter, you know, does long arming for people and stuff like that. And a lot of people have donated in other ways to her because she had a video showing sort of what people had sent her and everything. I was thinking to myself, how to get new things in that.
Burn down your house.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying anything against her. Okay. That is a horrific situation. She had pictures. That place was tinder. There was nothing left, you know, out of it all. And she impresses me as being a very genuine person. But some of these other ones that I have seen, no, they're scamming. They're scamming.
Or they're not willing to put the money out for themselves. Like they may have some money that there is in their nest egg to, like this lady that was going on about her family or whatever. She could probably, I wouldn't doubt that she could probably afford to pay more or help support her family more herself. But then that takes away from her own money to do that, right? She's thinking, oh, well, an easy way out is to put this GoFundMe.
Put this up, this GoFundMe.
Let somebody else pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? So,
really?
I mean, like it's like with your parents. When your parents got older and stuff like that, we put a lot of money into stuff on our own with helping them out. And we didn't do a GoFundMe. And I mean, we could have used that money for other things too, but it was a priority to help keep them going. So.
And I'll tell you, one of the most horrible memories I will have of that situation was the day that we got my father into a nursing home. And we didn't get him into where I would have liked to have got him, but the circumstances were such, it was an emergency. And I had to scream up and down and jump all over everybody's head to get him into a place because my mother could no longer physically look after him. He had full-blown dementia. It was bad. It was really bad. We walked in, and in this country, we have a program for people on a lower income. There is a ceiling where you apply, and the government will pay for part of the care. Actually, they'll pay for the whole thing if you qualify. However, the government's ceiling for that was, at that point in time, $30,000. My father, between his pension and what he was getting on his CPP, which is what Americans would call Social Security, and that kind of thing, and old age security, he made just slightly over $30,000. So no funding from the government. They could not afford to pay the monthly fees for the nursing home. And I'm not talking about a retirement residence. I'm talking about a nursing home No frills, no thrills on that. I had to write a check for the first month, the day we took my father over there, for $2,500 at the time. Now this is over 10 years ago. Okay. My hand literally was shaking on the pen. My sister was there, never offered me a cent at the time for it, never did, because she had children in university. And, well, you know,
Yeah, she had children in university. She did have savings.
It's, yeah, and the whole bit.
But no, I have children. I can't afford to help you.
And my mother sat there in the same room and said nothing. And the reason my hand was shaking at writing a $2,500 check at the time was not for that initial amount. If that had been a one-time deal, I could have survived. But I'm thinking every month I have to write a $2,500 check. That was more than 50% of what I was bringing in a month at that point in time. And I had my bills to pay on top of it all. I should have gone and done a GoFundMe with it. Yeah. So but we managed. We made it work. We got it. We got through it all. Well, here's how it resolved itself. 6 weeks later, my father died.
Well, and you sold the house.
And I sold the house and got my mother an apartment, the whole bit. And had to, and luckily the housing market at that time was what it was. We made more on the house than it was. Mind you, we could have made more, except my parents still had a mortgage on the house. They'd been in that house since 1968. But my father had refinanced the house a couple of times because he had his own small one-man business that my father was not a good businessman. So, yeah. But the thought of going out to strangers and asking for money, well, first of all, I have my pride to start with, and that's a form of begging, and I don't beg. Yeah. So, you know, when I see these ones coming up on YouTube like this, and more of them are happening now, I'm really getting very hard-hearted.
And more things that we've been through.
Yeah.
That we've had to deal with expenses, and you think we managed to get through it.
Yeah. Teresa says, or no, back up. KMB Stitches says, I've heard of a bride-to-be going around with their Cash app asking for money for her wedding. Yeah, forget it. That's ludicrous. Teresa says, my attitude is that if you're spending more on your wedding than a down payment on a house, you're nuts. Yeah. I mean, that gets you into a whole nother discussion, you know. So you spend all this money for one day in your life. How's that working out for you now? Especially after 2 years later, they're divorced. Yeah.
Well, I know somebody, there's a guy I used to work with that they had $100,000 wedding, and he was cheating on her a few weeks later.
Yeah, so, yeah. There's an investment. Pat's here says, I'm in disbelief that kids are not taught these basic skills in junior high or high school. Life skills like budgeting, meal planning, basic bar cart, or so very much. They actually are. They don't pay attention. They actually, depending on whether they're in math class has business related mathematics. There are courses in the consumer studies department teaching about childcare, basic food preparation, stuff like this, nutrition. There's courses in automotive shop that show you about basic car care and the whole bit. They're taught, but they don't have an interest in learning because it's all been given to them by their parents. So, you know, they don't have to fend for themselves. They can get their money from the bank of mommy and dad. And then you hear about, and this is a topic for another day, and I think we've probably touched on it before. Parents today have 40-year-old children living in their home, and they're supporting them as they save for a house or whatever the excuse is. I mean, cut the apron strings, you know, kind of a thing. So I blame that on weak parenting skills. I really do. And don't give me the excuses that today it's so much more expensive than when we were kids and all that. No, it's not. It's all relative. It is all relative. to that. Lydia says, my parents are looking at retirement homes, nursing homes, and the prices are atrocious. Said some residents are well over $5,000 a month, even with a decent pension. It's difficult to afford. I know. I looked into those for my mother.
At the time we were looking, and that was quite a while ago now, what do you call it? A studio unit was going for about $3,500.
Yep.
And then, and
it's a la carte. Those are the basics. Your accommodation, food. But if you can't do your laundry yourself and you want laundry service, that's an addition. If you are having trouble walking, they will take you down for your meals at $600 a month at this one place we went to.
And we're talking a few years ago. It's probably $700 or $800 now to do that.
If you want your pills to be dispensed and filled, there's a charge for that. Everything is a la carte. But when you go in and you tour these places, they don't tell you all about it. They make it all sound like, oh, we'll look after your loved ones so well.
We live in this resort here.
Yeah.
And we have all these resort things to do.
If they can't bathe themselves or they need assistance in that, that's additional. If they can't look after the cleaning of their own little room, because that's all they are basically, is a room in that's an additional charge. All of that. So the base price is $5,000. Then you start adding on top of that. Yeah. So there's our rings going again. Nobody's at the door. We have this monster thing. But anyways, yeah. So you should have a GoFundMe. You know, if you want to. Geez, Lydia, start a GoFundMe for your parents for this. Teresa says she told her son that he needs to run past City Hall when the marriage thing comes up. Yeah. Less expensive. Hi, Catherine.
Probably be happier in the long run.
Yeah. Cheryl says, my mom is in an assisted living facility now, $9,300 a month. Yeah. My mother's nursing home she had a private room. And I can't remember now what.
2,800.
Yeah, about 20. Yeah, about 2,800.
But that's the government standard.
Yeah.
And that's a nursing home. It's a registered nursing home, which their rates are capped by the government. So
yeah. Hi, traveling
but
Quilter.
when you're going into a retirement residence, they're not capped by the government. And nowadays, it's so hard to get into a nursing home in Canada that a lot of people are using retirement homes as nursing homes, and they have no upper limit on fees for them, and so their families are paying large sums of money to keep them into a retirement residence.
Yeah. Lydia says, I'm too scared to place my parents. I'll more than likely have them stay with me. Their pension can pay for a personal support worker or RPN/RN. It will be cheaper to adapt my home to their needs. Yeah. Well,
until it gets to the point where they're going to have to be, like you have a lot of medical issues and things like that.
And you can go through our government here. Now we're talking, because Lydia is in the Ottawa area now, so we're talking Canada. In Ontario. I mean, you can apply to get support for someone to come in the government, but they're useless. They're quite useless, how much time they give you and what they do when they're there. And yeah, because I went through that whole route. I hate to say this to you, Lydia, but you're welcome to hell coming up. Okay? So yeah, you have my best wishes on all of that. Been there, done it. Glad I don't have to do that anymore because it's horrible. Cheryl says, luckily she likes it. We hope she doesn't outlive her money. She will be 91 in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's a worry too. Been down that road. Delmarie, every 7 minutes she tips us back to 5 minutes before you're live. I have turned off my phone, but okay, but Delmar, I just said we can't help you with that. Okay? Thank you for the information. I don't need to hear this because I can't do anything about it. I am sorry. That's just the way it's working. Okay? All right. So, anyways, I had a couple of other topics, but we'll save those for next week because our time is here and I'm really tired of everybody talking about the ads, to be quite frank about it. But anyways, well, thanks for joining us today. So just remember, we've got Sewing with Stephen without Stephanie on Wednesday. We've got all the videos that we put out during the week. We also have Pop-Up Sew Day this coming Saturday, 8 a.m. Come whenever you can. Yes, Brenda, you can come later. I know you like your sleep. And I'll be sending out to those of you on our on the email list that link as well. But the link will be posted, and it's already posted in the show notes for this day, but it'll be in the show notes for everything next week. So, any final comments, words, anything? You've got dinner planned. Why not? We're having pizza. Walter's homemade pizza. So, yeah, I know you're just letting me know, Delmar. Yeah, thank you. Okay, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye.